Kind of this forward moving storm right here, this leading edge from Fultondale basically up towards Center Point. That's where we're going to have these really strong winds, and those strong winds are going to be felt as this storm marches across northern Jefferson County. It's heading towards Center Point. Next stop will be Trussville, so we are going to be tracking this as it moves through north and northeast Jefferson County at this time. Very heavy rainfall. So again, not seeing some of the traditional signatures that we would generally see on these supercell thunderstorms. Lots of rain and heavy rainfall all the way back from Mulga to Springville. So we are tracking not only wind and rain, but also the potential for some of these storms to produce a brief tornado. And we can see that with how that storm is bowing out just a little bit on the front. That means there's lots of energy forcing its way to the front there of that storm system. Again, as we're tracking this storm off to the north and to the east, it's moving at about 50 miles per hour. And I want to put our velocity product back on there. Look at this signature right here. So this would indicate that there is actually rotation. We don't have confirmation just yet. Let's see, a spotter reporting some power flashes. That was at 10:37, so likely having some power outages in northern Jefferson County. This is heading through Fultondale as we speak. And when we are tracking this, you'll notice those reds and greens on your screen. Okay, we are starting to see the debris signature north of Fultondale there. So actually just popped up on our radar. So that is what we are looking for. So you see that dot of yellow on your screen? We are going to go to the studio now with Griffin.
TDS that you're seeing there now. So this is going to be impacting a well-developed area of Fultondale. So right as you get off the exit at I-65, this is right near there's a lot of businesses there. There's a Full Moon Barbecue. This is basically passing right through downtown Fultondale, just to the north of Newcastle Road. You see it right there in the center of your screen, that tiny little shade of yellow. That is potentially debris. We could be talking about a small tornado here, but that's a very clear indication that we have debris that could be being thrown up by this tornado. As of right now, it is to the east of I-65, moving northeast. And look at that latest scan right there. Carson Road,
wow.
North Pine Hill. That's without a doubt, there's a tornado there. I could think we can say with confidence that that there is a tornado there for sure. So this is for everybody. If you're along Highway 79 along Pinson Valley Parkway, you need to seek shelter immediately. Everybody in Center Point, east of Highway 79, I would get to an interior room away from doors and windows as soon as possible, because almost certainly, Ashley, there's a tornado there without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. And I have that pulled up on our debris signature right now, sharing that information with social media as well. One of the troubles we have with nocturnal storms is that, you know, they're at night. You can't see anything when you look at a window. Not that we encourage people to go to their windows and look, but some of the features we could look at it even on a tower cam. We just can't see at night. So that's actually one thing I was going to pull up, because I was just looking at our BJCC tower cam, and you'll notice on our BJCC tower cam, it looks like just a pretty ominous night. Gray skies, but every once in a while, there we go. Did you see that? I'm tracking this lightning. It is becoming a lightning show in Jefferson County. And if we can, let's pan that camera and point it north. I have a feeling if we point that camera north and we see that lightning, we may actually be able to see some of that cloud lowering over Fultondale. And I know that we get some of the buildings that get a little bit in the way there on top of the BJCC, but I think we will have just enough clearance to be able to see some lowering of the clouds there. So we'll kind of let the camera pan there. I'm going to go back to our debris indicator, because one of the things that I've noticed with the last few scans is the color on this has really ramped up. And what I mean by that is, at first we saw just the orange and yellow, then we started to see the green, and now we're seeing that dot of blue and purple. And what the debris indicator is showing is this is how high debris is being lofted into the atmosphere. And when you have more of that debris, you have more of the reflectivity, essentially. So it's saying, hey, there are things in the atmosphere that just shouldn't be here. And that's showing that I do agree. And as I look at, okay, we do have a confirmed tornado via debris on radar. So this is coming from our National Weather Service. So we're looking at the same product right now, our debris signature, heading towards center point, very strong velocity signature. And we need to make sure that everyone is getting into their safe place. If you are in center point, if you can hear my voice, please get to a safe place. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We want to make sure right now, this is the debris signature, the blue dot on your screen. This is heading towards center point right now. So I've drawn that arrow on the screen. Next will be Chalkville, Clay Chalkville area, Grayson Valley. Anyone that is living along Old Springville Road, make sure to get to your safe spot. Arrowhead, get to your safe place. Larkwood, again, lowest floor of your house, as many walls between you and the outside as possible. I'm going to switch back over to our reflectivity product. Again, this is not necessarily going to be as well defined as maybe other, I would say, a springtime severe weather event, because look at all the rain. There's not really anything to see. So there's some very heavy rain that's falling in center point right now. That heavy rain will be followed by this tornado. And again, confirmed tornado on the ground, northern Jefferson County. This has just moved east of Fultondale. If you live anywhere between Fultondale and center point, get to your safe place. This is going to be moving towards the Interstate 59 corridor, just to the south of Springville. But if you live in the city of Center Point, again, get to your safe spot immediately. Bridlewood Forest Estates, that's a neighborhood nearby, in Berkeley Hills, get to your safe spot. All right, let me zoom out just quickly because I do want to put a track on this storm system. And as we put our velocity product on here, we can see that this storm has now moved northeast of Fultondale. It's near Carson Road. So anywhere along Carson Road or State Route 79, that's Pinson Valley Highway, go ahead and get to your safe spot. This is moving basically, if you're from Pinson into Center Point all the way down towards Roebuck, go ahead and get to your safe place right now. Where we're tracking those reds and greens, that would indicate tornado or areas of rotation, and that's where we're likely seeing that tornado on the ground. Again, there's been confirmation through our velocity product, and we've had confirmation through our debris signature there. So let me go ahead and track this for you really quickly. These storms are moving at about 50 miles per hour off to the north-northeast. So here we go. Pinson in about 5 minutes. Chalkville, 7 minutes. The city of Clay, about 10 minutes. And then Margaret to Springville, 20 to 23 minutes, with Odenville kind of on the bookend there at 25 minutes. If you live in any of these cities, if you're looking at your screen and you can read them, great. I want to make sure that you can, if you can just hear my voice, maybe you're already in your safe place, you can't see the screen. Center Point, 3 minutes away from you. Chalkville, 6 minutes. Clay, 11. Repeating, Argo and Margaret, about 15 to 20 minutes. So get to your safe place at this time. Again, we're looking at our wind velocity product. So this is going to indicate where we have that area of rotation, where that red and that green come together. It's right on top of Pinson Valley Parkway, near just to the west of Center Point. So again, this is going to be moving towards Sun Hill Road. It will be moving over Wood Drive in the community of Arrowhead. Center Point, I mean, it's going to be right over downtown Center Point. And right along Pinson Valley Highway, it's moving east of Carson Road at this time. But again, Pinson down towards Center Point, East Haven, and then that's going to be moving towards Chalkville next. We'll need to make sure that we are tracking this very closely because we still have a very well-defined signature there on our debris indicator. We can see that in the bright blue. We'll send it back into the studio right now with Griffin with more developments. Griff?
All right, thank you, Ashley. I just want to give everybody a heads up who's watching in St. Clair County. The tornado warning has been extended out to 11:30 p.m. out into northern St. Clair County. So as you move up I-59 to the northeast of where this tornado is, that includes Margaret, Springville, and Asheville. You guys are under a tornado warning now, preemptively ahead of time. This tornado is still well down to the southwest of Asheville. I would say Asheville, probably about 45 minutes away. But again, there is still debris being shown up on radar. So if you want to take links to full screen, we've got that pulled up as well. The debris signature is there right on top of Highway 79, right near Turkey Creek Nature Preserve between Pinson and Center Point. Right as you drive due south down 79, just to the south of the Nature Preserve there, we have a tornado in progress that's passing right through Center Point. So it's right on top of Highway 79 right now, just to the west of downtown Center Point. And if you are in Center Point, you need to take shelter right now. So if you're in Fultondale, this is where the tornado originated. If you're in Fultondale right now, you're still under a tornado warning, but this is past you and it's tracking to the northeast away from you. So if you're in Fultondale, stay sheltered for just a little bit longer, and then you can come out of your shelter once the tornado warning is expired. But the main concern right now is in Center Point and Pinson. If you're in Center Point or in Pinson, you need to seek shelter right now, because you can see it there, right there on the center left of your screen. We've got tornado debris signatures that are showing up on radar, and that doesn't usually happen. We can have tornado warnings that just have a velocity couplet with them, but anytime you have this, it is 99.9% sure that we have a tornado on the ground. So in Center Point, in the northeastern suburbs of Birmingham, up Highway 79, you need to seek shelter immediately. Ashley, I'll go ahead and toss it back to you.
Yeah, Griffin, thanks. The reason I wanted to break in really quick is because we have some very important wording that just came down from the National Weather Service. And I want to read this straight from the National Weather Service for northeastern Jefferson County. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over Pinson and moving east of Gardendale and Fultondale, just as we had mentioned, 45 miles per hour. And it says that it could be a potentially life-threatening situation with flying debris, and we need to make sure that everyone is getting to their safe spot immediately. And they said, to repeat, a large, extremely dangerous, and potentially deadly tornado is on the ground in northern Jefferson County. Protect life, take cover now, move to a basement, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Something else that I want to point out is we're now seeing a couple of areas where we could have those debris signatures, which means there could be a couple of areas of rotation that we're also tracking. What we're looking at is along from Center Point, just as Griffin had mentioned. So right over Center Point and then up towards Pinson, we're seeing two separate areas. Let me put my velocity product on here because we might be able to see that just a little bit better as far as where that rotation is. So again, right over the Arrowhead community into Pinson, this is where we need to be taking cover. Chalkville, Candlewood Lakes, over towards Deerfoot Parkway. Deerfoot Parkway running on the eastern side of Jefferson County. This is going to be tracking towards Argo and then on into Misty Pines. We're watching this kind of follow right along that Interstate 59 corridor, but right over Pinson right now. Again, some very strong wording coming in from the National Weather Service right now, talking about a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado on the ground located right over Pinson. That came out at 10:51. The time right now is 10:55. So it's just a matter of minutes. If you can hear my voice, make sure that you're getting your family into that safe spot. Let me zoom out just so we can kind of reassess where we are geographically. If you're just now tuning in, watching us here on CBS 42, we do have a tornado warning that includes Jefferson County and St. Clair counties. This is going to be moving off to the northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. But even looking at our screen right now, you can just see lots of red, some embedded purple. It kind of is hard to make sense of it all, right? These are rain-wrapped thunderstorms. So we have a very, very saturated atmosphere. We are not going to see our traditional hook echoes. We're not going to see our bowing features, things that you often hear us talk about when we're looking calling it severe weather. So we're going to have to put some of our other products on where we can analyze these storms. And one of those is this velocity product. So where you see those pixels on your screen, the reds and the greens, anytime that they are nearby and worst case touching, that means the atmosphere has tightened up. We call it a couplet here in the weather world, but essentially it's a tight area of rotation. We likely have a lowering of that cloud, and then we can look at our debris signature, and that will show where this where items are being lofted into the atmosphere. So it could be tree limbs, it could be objects, it could be things. I mean, we don't know what it is. We just know, hey, when we see these green and yellow dots embedded in these reds, that's not supposed to be there. So our debris indicator, and the thing is, the debris indicator doesn't always line up with where the actual center of rotation is, because think about it, it's being lofted into the air and then it spins. And so where that debris indicator, where the debris ends up, may be further away from the center of that circulation. But we're really focused on center point to Pinson right now. I'll send it back in the studio with Griffin.
All right, Ashley, thank you so much. I want to show you this. This is a lapse over the past 30 minutes. We can actually see how this tornado has moved over the past 30 minutes, and this is a pretty striking sight. So right there, that was the tornado itself that just passed through Fultondale, tracked northeast through Center Point. There, that is debris that is falling out of the tornado to the north of it. You see the signature there, and then just north of it, that's all of the debris that was thrown northward by the tornado. So that is a really striking sight to see on radar. You don't really see that very often unless it's a very strong tornado. And I know we have some significant damage reports coming in. We've got a report of significant damage on Walker's Chapel Road, the Walker's Chapel Road exit on I-65. Power lines reported down there as well. And as I understand, we have the mayor of Center Point on the phone to potentially talk to us about some damage that's happening there. So, Mr. Mayor, if you could give us a quick report on what's happening in Center Point, the mayor of Center Point. We've got Bobby Scott, the mayor of Center Point, on the phone.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you, sir? Hopefully you're still in shelter.
Yes, we are. So I don't have any damage reports just yet. I know our power has been going out back and forth, and we did hear the sirens multiple times at this point. So Hopefully everybody is sheltered in place and remains safe until after this is over.
Okay, but you did say the power has gone out. That's really not surprising. These are really powerful storms, and farther back to the west, I mean, we definitely had a debris signature. So tornado warning still in effect. Stay sheltered for a little bit longer. And do you have any? Have you received any? Are people coming to seek shelter in City Hall? Are you sheltered in City Hall?
No, we aren't sheltered in City Hall. We didn't get any requests for shelter or anything like that. So I think it was kind of late in the afternoon when all of this hit. So I don't think many people were prepared, to leave or come out to shelter.
Right. It did happen on such short notice. I mean, this warning first popped up about 20 to 30 minutes ago. So again, no reports of any significant damage so far in Center Point. But if we do receive any more reports of damage, we'll certainly get back to you, Mayor Scott. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
All right, so let's continue with what's happening on radar right now. Again, the debris signature itself with the tornado, right there it was, just passed through Center Point. That's the current scan, and as of right now, it looks like the TDS, so to speak, itself has lifted. But again, the warning's still in effect. So we'll let me walk right over here, and I'll adjust the screen a little bit to look a little bit farther downstream. St. Clair County still included with that tornado warning. Pause the loop there. So if you're in Springville and if you're in Margaret, I would go ahead and seek shelter just to be on the safe side. I mean, as of right now, the couplet, the tornado, if it's there, is farther to the west of you, right near Deerfoot Parkway. Just to the north of I-59, if there is anything, it would be right there and tracking up to the northeast. So tracking towards places along Goodner Mountain Road, tracking up towards Springville. If you're anywhere within these roads I'm calling out, I would go ahead and seek shelter just to be on the safe side. But if you're in Springville, if you're in Margaret, if you are along Jones Road, anywhere along Highway 11 in Springville, you guys included with that tornado warning, which is in effect until 11:30 p.m. But again, I think we can definitely say that we need to be certainly keeping an eye on this storm because it has a history of producing damage and a very well-defined tornado debris signature. So let me show you again what I was talking about a moment ago. That right there, this is not current data. This was about 15 minutes ago. That there in the center of your screen, that's the tornado. Now fast forward about 5 minutes to the north of that, that right about here, that's all the tornado debris that was thrown northward by the tornado. You don't normally see that very often, but I think that's certainly what's happening here. So we potentially had things like pieces of branches, leaves that were thrown northward up towards Fitzgerald Estates to the north of Pinson that were thrown by the tornado itself, which unfortunately looks like it passed right through Center Point. So again, the main concern now is for areas to the northeast along I-59. So if you're in Springville, Asheville, Margaret, any of these places, you want to seek shelter immediately. If you're in Jefferson County, though, at least the northern suburbs of Birmingham, if you're in Gardendale, Fultondale, Fairfield, you guys can come out of shelter for now. I think we can give you guys an all clear because the warning for you guys has expired.